In my second semester, I was placed at Caramella College, Broadwalk, Point Cook, with an amazing set of grade 4 students and with a really supportive and fantastic mentor. This term's focus was on physical science, under which the main topic was heat. This gave me a perfect opportunity to incorporate ICT and multimodal learning. The Victorian curriculum VCSSUO63 is directly related to the term's focus. The learning intention or the outcomes are describing how heat can be produced, exploring how heat can be transferred through conduction, convection, and radiation, recognizing that we can feel heat and measure its effects using a thermometer. I have used a range of multimodal and ICT resources like YouTube, MS Excel, Kahoot, Experiments, and ClassDojo. YouTube. Many lessons can be enhanced with the right video, something visual and entertaining that speaks about the subject, breaks up the monotony of the class, and brings the fun part which keeps the students more engaged. I have used YouTube video as a hook at the beginning of each lesson. MS Excel, an interactive tool that helps students to make or convert values into graphs, which is engaging and interactive. Kahoot, a fun way to assess students, a quiz app that I used at the end of my class to assess their knowledge. Students are engaged, and review at the end of each question helps students to understand where they went wrong. This is an interactive game that can be used at any level for any subject. ClassDojo, a class management tool where individual or the whole class gets rewarded for being on task, behavior, and their general progress in class. It has class timers, noise meter, and random groupings which really helped me in managing my class. Experiments. It is a multimodal approach that helps in active learning and promotes their critical thinking. It also caters interaction between student and teachers. I have used Experiment as it is hands-on and engaging. Aiming to deepen students' understanding, address differentiation, effective assessment, and increase student engagement, I planned a series of 4 lessons where Lesson 1 gave an introduction to heat and different sources of heat. We watched videos on how heat is produced and what different sources of heat we can see at home. Lesson 2 consisted where we conducted an experiment where the students recorded the time it took for hot water to cool down and cold water to reach at the room temperature. It was recorded at an interval of 10 minutes. This information was then plotted on Excel sheet. The students made line graphs and named their graphs. Lesson 3 was on how heat was transferred, that is, conduction, convection, and radiation. A video on heat transfer was played as an introductory class. We had class discussions on the topic and they were asked to write a letter to Chef Pierre on what they studied. Chef Pierre is a pretend chef which I use as a technique to engage students and to even assess them. Lesson 4 was on conductors and insulators. What they are and different types of conductors and insulators. An introductory video was played for deeper understanding. An experiment was conducted where different materials was placed in hot water and students had to think which material became hot first and reason out why. This helps students to reinforce the concept more effectively. Lastly, to assess their knowledge, I used Kahoot as a form of assessment where I set up a quiz on the lessons above. This was really engaging and it got a bit noisy. The acceptance answer, the right one, showed the students were really engaged. While planning my lessons, I used a constructivist approach which reflects my pedagogical approach of teaching. Student engagement was a key element as the lessons were planned in order to make them active learners. The high impact strategies was a guide to help me address important considerations like structuring lessons, which is having a sequence of lessons that has activities and set goals. Metacognitive strategies, where students think about their thinking. Collaborative learning, it is where students work in groups or everyone participates in learning the task. And lastly, multiple exposure. This provides students with multiple opportunities to encounter, engage, and elaborate on new knowledge and skills. Using 7-year affordances as a part of my planning really helped me understand that students are active knowledge makers and that is they make new connections between different pieces of information in order to create new meanings. The use of different modes, which is multimodal meaning, helps the teacher to effectively engage students, and the use of different modes caters the need of different students. For assessment, after each topic was covered, students were asked to write a letter or make a poster to Chef Pierre on what they learned and how he could use it in his kitchen. My mentor and I pretended to be Chef Pierre and corrected the letter, which really helped us understand on how they have understood the topic. General observation and the use of Kahoot was another way to assess them. For differentiation, the students who struggled to write the letter, they were asked to make a poster on what they understood visually. The experiments were done in groups so that they are engaged in peer learning. My mentor and I believe that there should be a source of fun element when you teach something. My mentor teacher had a reflection with students and they responded positively. My mentor encouraged me with my lesson planning and gave me good feedback. Benjamin Franklin says, "Tell me and I forget, teach me and I remember, involve me and I learn." This is what I intend to do. Thank you for watching. I really enjoyed teaching these lessons. It was a good experience.